Selenium test process. Selenium test process or Selenium test life cycle. Selenium test life cycle. Here 5 phases. First phase, test planning. Next phase, generating basic tests. Plain navigation. Next, enhancing tests or test cases. Next, running and debugging. Debugging optional only for some test cases. Debugging tests. Next, last one, analyzing test results and reporting defects. Analyzing test results and reporting defects. Okay. First I am taking test planning. Okay. What are the important tasks in test planning phase? First, get application environment, UI design and database details from development team. Get environment details. What environment? Application environment, AUT, application under test. Get application environment. Details. Here important one, just a minute. Get application environment. Here important details are UI design, user interface design. Why? Our tool is object-based test tool. Based on front-end objects, it performs test operations. Not only Selenium, you take any functional test automation tool, UFT or RFT, they conduct testing using front-end objects only, but some exemption is there. That exemption is for database testing, no front-end object reference is required. UI design and database details. See, get environment details from development team. I think Ravindra, are you familiar with UFT na? In UFT, suppose I want to test Java application, then what is the prerequisite? We need to select Java add-in na?
We need to install Java add-ins.
We need to load Java add-in. Suppose if you want to test .NET application, you need to load .NET add-in. Suppose SAP application, SAP add-in. See, based on add-ins only, UFT can recognize application objects. But here, no add-in concept. That one important difference is, in Selenium, you no need to load any add-ins. If it is Java application or .NET application or SAP application, forget about that application technology. If it is web application, it can support. Getting this point?
Okay.
Web application. Suppose web application developed using Java or .NET or PHP, it can support. No need to load any add-ons. But if it is UFT, formerly QTP, we need to select appropriate add-ins. Okay.
Sir, I have one question.
Ah,
So if application develop any other language except these six, though in that case, do we
forget
need to
about
add
that
in
one.
any?
Don't confuse. See, this programming in Selenium supports 6 languages na.
Yeah.
If any application developed using other technologies, Selenium supports. These languages
Okay. Okay.
only for programming, means creating test scripts, not for technology compatibility.
Okay. Okay. Got you.
Suppose your application developed using Java, you can use Perl or Python or Ruby in Selenium, no issue.
Okay.
Getting?
Yeah.
These supported programming languages, 6 programming languages na, Java, Perl, Python, Ruby, PHP, .NET in .NET, C# .NET. These are only for creating test scripts, not for technology compatibility. Suppose,
Okay.
okay, good. Your application developed using Java, you can use Java in Selenium or Perl or Python or Ruby, no issue, same process. Okay. See, first get environment details, application environment details from development team. Next, important task, analyze the AUT. Analyze the AUT. Sri Lakshmi, what is AUT?
Application under test.
Yes, application under test. Analyze the AUT in terms of objects or elements. See, terminology varies from one environment to another. In UFT, we call object. In Selenium, element. Both are synonyms in this scenario. See, analyze the AUT in terms of objects or elements. Identification. See, first you need to check whether the tool is identifying all of our application front-end objects or not. How to identify in Ravindra, in UFT, formerly QTP, object spy feature is there na?
Yes, that's what I meant. Yes, there is the
Object
object
spy.
spy. So if
Using
you
the
click,
object spy,
yeah,
you can get the
identify the
object
objects.
details. But here
Right.
no such type of concept. Other features are there. Suppose if you use Selenium IDE, limited use or no use, just understanding point of view, using recording feature, in Selenium IDE. You record some navigations and playback. Suppose tool is playing back properly, then no issue. Otherwise, you need to focus on it. Suppose we are not using Selenium IDE, Selenium WebDriver. If it is Selenium WebDriver, using element inspectors, we can inspect elements. Or objects. Okay. Here depends on browser. Suppose if you are using Mozilla Firefox, in Mozilla Firefox, page inspector feature is there. Using page inspector, you can inspect. That I will show in practical chapters. Just get the theoretical approach. Page inspector. Next, if it is Google Chrome, or IE, they have built-in developer tools. Built-in developer tools. Shortcut key F12. Developer tools. You can inspect. Okay, now this feature, Priya, Shiva Priya, how to inspect elements in Selenium? If it is Selenium IDE, record and playback some scenarios. Next, if it is Selenium WebDriver, how to inspect elements?
Selenium WebDriver has got inbuilt feature to inspect the elements.
Selenium WebDriver inbuilt feature. Browsers built-in features. Browsers.
Okay.
That inspector not belongs to Selenium WebDriver. Getting?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Tell me how to inspect elements in Selenium WebDriver.
Selenium WebDrivers, all the browsers, they got inbuilt element inspector.
Suppose if it is Mozilla Firefox,
it has got inbuilt page inspector.
Page inspector. Suppose IE or Chrome,
it has got inbuilt.
What is the name? Developer tools.
Okay.
Developer tools. Remember this one. Developer tools. Okay. Analyze the AUT in terms of object identification or element identification. Next task, select. This is actually lead activity. Suppose yours is small company or medium scale company, that time you also involve in this task. Select test cases. Select test cases for automation. See, no restriction, no limitation. Generally, we select test cases from 3 areas. Remember, 100% test automation is not possible. We try to automate maximum test cases, but not 100% test cases. For some test cases, manual user observation required, human user interaction is required. So we can't automate 100% test cases. We try to automate maximum test cases. Usually we select test cases from these 3 areas. First area, test cases. Test cases that we have to execute on every build. That we have to execute on every build, every software build. Every software build. What type of tests? Rajashekar. Tests that we have to execute on every software build. What type of tests? Ravindra?
Sanity, sir.
Good. Who is telling?
Ravindra.
Ravindra. Smoke, sanity. Smoke on initial build, sanity on modified builds. So smoke only one time, sanity multiple times. Sanity tests. Why we automate sanity tests? We have to execute sanity tests multiple times. Once you create sanity tests, tool can execute multiple times quickly. If it is manual testing, every time you need to execute manually, it takes more time. If it is automation, tool can execute tests quickly. So automation is useful. Next, test cases that we have to execute on every modified build. Every modified build, not on initial build. Every modified build. Can you tell me, Satish, what type of tests?
Regression.
Good. Regression tests. Regression tests. Next, test cases that we have to execute using multiple sets of test data. Vijaya, what type of tests?
Parallel testing.
Multiple sets of test data. Parallel testing is different. Ahalya, can you tell me?
Data-driven.
Ahalya. I think batch testing is different. Executing series of test cases.
Sir, it can be performance test or
performance. No.
Data-driven.
Who is telling data-driven testing?
Shushma.
Yes, yes. Data-driven. Data-driven tests. Okay, correct answer. See, usually we select these 3 areas for test automation, but no restriction, no limitation. You can select maximum test cases for automation. Next, last task, select, or you can say choose Selenium tools and configure. I think in first chapter I explained how to configure Selenium. In practical chapter I will show how to download and how to configure and how to verify the environment. See, these are the important tasks in test planning phase of Selenium test process. Now tell me, Amita, what are the important tasks in test planning phase? Then we will move to next phase.
First, we need to get the application environment UI details.
UI and database details from development team. Next.
Then analyze the AUT in terms of object or elements.
Or element identification. Next.
Then using recording features in Selenium IDE.
Recording feature in Selenium IDE or using page inspector in Mozilla Firefox or developer tools in Chrome or IE, we can inspect elements. Okay. Next.
Then select test cases for automation.
What type of test cases usually we select for automation?
We usually test cases that we have to execute on every software build. It's called the sanity test. Then test cases that we have to execute on every modified software build. That's regression test.
Good.
And then test cases that we have to execute using multiple sets of test data. That is data-driven test.
Good. Last task.
Last task is choose Selenium tools and configure.
Good. Good. Next, second phase, generating basic tests. Okay, na Rajashekar, are you following? Any confusion?
Yes, sir. I'm following.
Okay. Cool.
No. So far, I'm good, sir. I'm sorry. I'm good.
Cool. Welcome. See, generating basic tests. Generating basic tests. See, in manual testing, yesterday we discussed test design only one phase. Here, test design phase divided into two phases. One is generating basic tests, another is enhancing tests, but both are combined, but just segregation. Both are combined only. What is the difference between generating basic tests? Next, third one, enhancing tests. Enhancing tests. See, these both come under generating tests only or test design only. What is the difference? Have any idea, Ravindra, difference between these two phases?
I think as per my understanding is, sir, if once you generate the basic test cases by, like I'm saying by QTP, so once you record that the basic test cases, so you can do the like parameterization.
Yes,
and,
that is enhancing.
Yeah, so any checkpoint that we can do as a, like enhance and run the test.
Okay, cool, good. But not only recording, suppose I use descriptive programming. That is also generating basic tests only. See, generating basic tests means creating plain navigation. Suppose launch browser, enter username, password, enter password, click sign in button. These are basic steps. Next, inserting verification point, adding comments, error handling, parameterization if required, synchronization if required, all come under enhancing tests. See, generating basic. Okay?
Okay.
Cool. Sean, observe Sean. Generating basic tests means creating plain navigation. Enhancing tests means inserting verification points, parameterization, synchronization, adding comments, error handling, etc. with respect to test requirements. Okay, now any confusion, Sean?
No, sir, I got it.
Your voice is very low. Try to increase the volume for next time. Okay. Generating basic tests. Okay. See, I will compare UFT with Selenium. Already I told these two tools are market competitors in this area of testing, functional testing. So if you know, if you want to learn Selenium, you must know some concepts about UFT. That is better. Suppose if you are UFT tester, you must know some features about Selenium also. See, Selenium and UFT are market competitors. Selenium is open source tool. Next, UFT is commercial tool. Just get some awareness on UFT also. That is an added advantage. Okay, generating basic tests. Except Ravindra, anybody having knowledge on UFT tool?
I do. I learned little bit.
Who is Shivapriya? Okay, Shivapriya.
Yeah, yes.
Tell me, Shivapriya, in UFT, formerly QTP, how we generate basic tests?
We can generate using recording or descriptive programming. Keyword test, keyword driven. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Say in UFT, we have two methods for generating basic tests. One is object repository. Object repository based test design. Object repository based test design. Again, in object repository based test design, two methods, but test script same. One is a recording, another is keyword driven methodology, means generating steps manually with the help of shared object repositories. Recording uses local object repositories. Okay, both come under object repository only. Keyword driven methodology. Either recording or keyword driven methodology. Next, another one is non-repository, without object repository, providing objects information directly in test steps. That is descriptive programming. Descriptive programming, or another name is programmatic descriptions. Programmatic descriptions. In Selenium, okay na Ravindra? One is object repository based test design, either recording or keyword driven methodology. Second one is descriptive programming. Okay na?
Yes, sir.
Next, in Selenium. See, actually, this is only theoretical chapter, just a roadmap for our program. In future chapters, we will discuss each and every concept in detailed manner. This is just indexing. In Selenium, suppose if we use Selenium IDE, then how to create basic tests. One is here in Selenium IDE, recording feature is there. Recording feature. Using recording. Or suppose if you know the syntax, you can type test steps using element locators and Selenium commands. Element locator for identifying the element, Selenium commands for performing operation on elements. See, type test steps using element locators and Selenium commands. See, Selenium IDE commands are called as Selenium commands. See, observe in this test automation, two important things. One is identifying element. Another is performing operation on the element. Every test step like this, except verification points and others. Identifying element, performing operation on the element. Suppose one edit box is there. First identify the edit box using that edit box ID or edit box name, locators available that we will discuss later. First to identify the element, edit box. Suppose edit box. First identify the edit box using edit box ID or edit box name, etc. locators. Any one locator is sufficient. Then perform operation on that element. What is the operation? What is the primary operation on edit box, Shivapriya?
Set method.
Methods, forget about manual operation. What is the primary operation on edit box? Enter a value.
Oh yeah.
Entering a value is primary operation, isn't it?
Yes.
Some secondary operations also there that we will discuss later. Next, Amita, link element is there. Suppose in Google homepage you can find Gmail link. I want to use that Gmail link. Identifying that Gmail link, that is identifying element. Next, performing operation on that element. What is the primary operation on link element?
Click on that link.
Yes, click. Suppose radio button is there. What is the primary operation on radio button?
Select that or
select. Okay. Next, checkbox is there. What are the operations on checkbox? Raja, what are the operations on checkbox?
Also select, sir.
Pardon?
Selecting a checkbox.
Selecting means check or uncheck. Both. Suppose already checked, we want to uncheck that one. As per our test requirement, you can uncheck. Check or uncheck.
Check or uncheck.
Primary operation, check only. Check means select. Okay. Identifying the element. Rajashekar, did you understand these two concepts? Identifying the element, then performing operation on that element.
Thank you.
Welcome. Say, for identifying the element, we use element locator. For performing operation on that element, we use Selenium command. Okay. Next, if it is Selenium WebDriver, Selenium WebDriver. Here, simple. Here, no recording feature. No recording feature. Observe Shailaja. In Selenium WebDriver is programming interface. It doesn't have any tool features, isn't it? Sri Lakshmi, Sumitra.
Yes, sir.
Sumitra, are you following? Selenium WebDriver is programming interface. Doesn't have any
yes, sir.
tool features.
Yeah, they don't have recording. Yeah, they don't have recording features.
It doesn't have recording feature. Not only recording feature, yes. No tool features. For each and everything, we need to write the code. Here, codes. No menus and no menu items. Okay. Here, how to generate basic tests. Using element locators, same. Using element locators and WebDriver commands. Using element locators and WebDriver commands. See, as per official documentation, seleniumhq.org documentation, WebDriver commands, term is commands, but you can say methods also. Why? We conduct these commands on object. That's why technical term method. Okay, you can use WebDriver commands or WebDriver methods. See, this is about generating basic tests. Can you tell me, Satish, how to generate basic tests in Selenium? First Selenium IDE, then Selenium WebDriver.
Yeah, Selenium IDE has a recording feature. And type
you can use recording feature for generating basic tests. Otherwise,
we can type the test steps using element locators and Selenium commands.
Selenium commands, if you know the syntax. If it is Selenium WebDriver,
using element locators and WebDriver commands methods.
Commands are methods are.
Okay.
Both are synonyms in this scenario. Okay. Next, come to, and one more thing, Ravindra, what about Selenium Grid? Selenium RC outdated. It is Selenium RC very similar to Selenium WebDriver. In order to overcome limitations of Selenium RC, WebDriver was launched. So forget about Selenium RC, similar to Selenium WebDriver and outdated. What about Selenium Grid, another tool of Selenium?
That is only for execution,
yes,
sir?
That is only for execution. Selenium Grid doesn't support test design, only for test execution. That too, parallel test execution. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Next, come to third phase. Enhancing tests. Enhancing tests. Okay. Say we generating basic tests is simple task, but enhancing tests is difficult task. Okay, we can achieve no problem. First, UFT. In UFT, first I am taking important one, inserting verification points. That is one of the enhancing method. For example, inserting just roadmap for our program. Just I am indexing the concepts, theoretical approach. In future classes, we will discuss each and every concept in detailed manner. Inserting verification points. Verification points. In UFT, earlier somebody told na, except Ravindra, Shivapriya, how to insert verification points in UFT, formerly QTP?
We can use conditional statement or exist method.
Exist method not only for all verifications, only for some. It is only for checking object existence. It is not suitable for all types of verifications.
Okay.
Conditional statements, okay.
Conditional statement.
One tool feature also there. What is the tool feature?
Checkpoints.
Yes. Say, using checkpoints. Using checkpoints or VB script. Using, this is UFT tool feature. Checkpoints UFT tool feature. Using UFT checkpoints or VB script. Conditional statements. Conditional statements. Next, in Selenium, first Selenium IDE. Selenium IDE. In Selenium IDE, how we insert verification points? Using assert or verify. Both are different, but purpose same. When to choose assert, when to choose verify, that we will discuss in practical chapter. Commands. Using assert or verify commands. These commands also belongs to Selenium commands only. These are Selenium commands only. Okay, using assert or verify commands. Next, if it is Selenium WebDriver. Selenium WebDriver. Can you guess, Ahalya, if it is Selenium WebDriver, how to insert verification points?
Sir, by using WebDriver commands.
Using?
WebDriver commands we can use.
WebDriver commands, no.
Or by code, by writing
using
programming code.
Programming. Using conditional statements. In our scenario, we are using Java. Using Java or Perl or Python or Ruby. Flow control. Flow control statements. In flow control, we have two types of statements. One is conditional statements, another is loop statements. Here we use conditional statements. Okay. Or using testing framework. Testing framework. If we use Java platform, then supported frameworks are Vijaya. What are the supported frameworks, testing frameworks for Java platform?
TestNG
or
JUnit.
JUnit. You can use either JUnit or TestNG. If we use .NET platform for creating tests, then supported supported testing framework is NUnit. See, using testing framework, either JUnit or TestNG, assertion methods. assertion methods, we can insert verification points. This is verification.
So this is only for batch.
Pardon?
TestNG is only for batch testing.
Who told? TestNG not only for batch testing. It generates test reports now.
Yeah, but not detailed report.
Not detailed report. TestNG generates detailed test reports only. In order to overcome that Selenium WebDriver limitation, Selenium WebDriver doesn't have any built-in result reporting facility. That's why we integrate testing framework. Say TestNG generates test reports now. Isn't it?
Okay, sir.
TestNG generates test reports. How it generates? If we use Java conditional statements or Java programming features, how it generates test reports? It doesn't know about Java programming, pass or fail, isn't it?
Okay.
If we use TestNG assertion methods, then TestNG can generate test reports.
Okay.
Don't confuse Raja. TestNG framework or JUnit framework not only for batch testing, grouping test cases, batch testing, next generating test reports. Generating test reports also important task of testing framework. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Any confusion, ask me. And one more thing, batch testing without TestNG also you can conduct batch testing. I will show that one. Without framework, either TestNG or JUnit, we can conduct batch testing in Selenium WebDriver. In one Java program, you can write single test case or multiple test cases.
WebDriver, sir.
In WebDriver, we use Java program. In that Java program, you can write single test case. Suppose 10 test cases, you can choose 10 Java programs. Or only one Java program, you write all 10 test cases in that Java program. See, batch testing is possible in Selenium WebDriver without any testing framework. Okay, na?
Okay, sir. Okay,
somebody trying to ask. Ravindra, any queries?
I'm just want to ask you, so are we going to see all these things in our practical classes, right?
Yes.
Okay, then we can get more clarity on that.
This is only indexing the concepts, theoretical.
Yeah. Understand. Yes.
Already 2-3 times I mentioned. Later we will discuss each and every concept in detailed manner.
Okay, sir. Okay.
See, now tell me, Sri Lakshmi, how to insert verification points in Selenium? Sri Lakshmi.
Verification points can be inserted through programming logic.
First tell me Selenium IDE, then Selenium WebDriver. In Selenium IDE?
Selenium IDE, we use the Selenium commands.
What type of commands? In Selenium is also some subsets of commands available. What type of commands? Concentrate.
The assert commands.
Assert or verify. Using assert or verify commands, we can insert verification points in Selenium IDE. Next, Selenium WebDriver.
Selenium WebDriver, we can use the logic, programming logic.
Programming logic. Suppose Java conditional statements or parallel conditional statements. If we use Java conditional statements. Or using,
I don't know.
You continue, Sean.
Using TestNG assertion methods.
Assertion methods. Using testing framework assertion methods. If it is TestNG or JUnit or NUnit, okay.
Yes.
Any queries, Amita? Did you understand this concept? Inserting verification points. Any query?
No queries, sir. I'm good.
Okay, cool.
Thank
Next,
you.
come to another insertion, another enhancing method, parameterization. Parameterization. Can you tell me, Ravinder, what is parameterization? It is global feature. You can find this parameterization feature in all programming languages and database technologies and in test automation also. What is parameterization?
Sir, parameterization is we can change the fixed values. So, for example, if you login button there, when you write in test cases.
I don't want example. Just tell me the definition. Enough.
Changing fixed values.
Changing fixed values. What is the Ravindra? What is the difference between parameterization and data-driven testing? Both are same or different?
So both are same, sir. Data-driven testing means you can give more data value with the parameterization places.
Both are same?
Yes.
Both are, see, three options. Both are different or both are same. Both are not same but related.
Yeah, I think it's not same, related, sir.
Good. Not same, related. See, parameterization means replacing constant values. Constant means fixed values. Replacing fixed values with parameters. Parameters means variables or arguments. Data-driven testing means testing the same functionality with multiple sets of test data. We use parameterization feature in data-driven testing. Difference is parameterization means passing single value or passing multiple values come under parameterization. But data-driven testing means passing multiple values only. Passing single value meaningless. Getting this difference?
Yes, sir. Yes.
See, parameterization is global feature, data-driven testing is local feature. We use parameterization feature in data-driven testing. Replacing, important one, replacing constant values. Constant values. Here constant means we have two types of constant. One is programming constant, another is English language constant. This is English language constant. We have programming constants also, na Ravindra? In VB script also constants are there, na? Variables constants.
Yes, sir, yes. Yes.
It is not that constant. That programming constant. This is English term constant. Replacing constant values. Here constant means fixed value. Values with parameters. Usually we use variables. Variable as parameter. Next, purpose of parameterization. Purpose of parameterization. What is the purpose? To pass single value. To pass single value. Sometimes we pass single values only. Observe, Satish. Sometimes we pass single value only when, suppose, when we call user defined method. In VB script, user defined functions. Here no function concept, user defined methods. Suppose I am calling login method, already we created login method. I want to pass single value only, but every time dynamic value, that time you can pass single value. when we call user defined methods. Next, to pass multiple values. When we pass multiple values to conduct data-driven testing. Say, relation is we use parameterization feature in data-driven testing. Data-driven testing means passing multiple values only. But parameterization is not only passing multiple values, also passing single value. Finding the difference, Saloni? Any confusion?
No, sir.
Anybody? Vijaya, are you following? Ask me.
No, sir. I'm good, sir.
Okay. Next, just definition level. Data-driven testing. Data-driven testing. What is data-driven testing? Next, why? Why data-driven testing? Why data-driven testing? Next, relation. See, in any interview, if you face this question, parameterization, data-driven testing, you can explain clearly. Parameterization and data-driven testing related concept. We use parameterization feature in data-driven testing, but both are not same. Parameterization is global feature. Data-driven testing is local feature. A relation between parameterization and data-driven testing. Data-driven testing. One by one. First, Amita, what is data-driven testing?
Data-driven testing is tracking the same functionality with multiple data.
Multiple sets of test data. Good.
Sets of data.
See, testing the same functionality. Testing the same functionality using multiple sets of tested data. Okay, good. Next, Sumitra, what is data-driven testing? Okay, why data-driven testing? Why we need to test with multiple sets of test data?
To make sure that feature works fine with all types of data.
Less clarity.
Okay. That means we want to verify the negative test casings.
Good. For positive and negative testing. Negative testing. Say, for valid inputs, my application is responding fine. What about handling invalid inputs? It has to accept valid inputs and prevent invalid inputs. The primary purpose of data-driven testing is positive and negative testing. Okay, next, relation between parameterization and data-driven testing. Already I told. We use parameterization feature. We use parameterization feature in data-driven testing. Okay, this is about some theory about parameterization. Okay, na Sushma? Any confusion?
No, sir, I'm good.
Now move to mainstream. In UFT, tell me, Shivapriya, how to parameterize? or how to conduct data-driven testing?
Parameterization can be done in the keyword view. We can configure the constant with the
less
value.
clarity. Keyword view, expert view, okay. But what is the basis? Using UFT tool feature data table. Source required na for data.
Yeah.
Using UFT tool feature data table, integrated spreadsheet. Data table, you can create test data or by importing external files, test data files using VB script, file system object, Excel object, database objects. You can import text files, Excel files, database files. Okay, na Ravindra?
Okay, sir.
How to import text files, plot files in VB script?
Actually, I haven't used that.
Object na.
Okay.
How to work with Excel files in VB script?
Excel application object.
Excel application object. How to work with databases in VB script?
Database connection and record
database objects. We have three objects: database connection object, database record set object, and database command object. Database connection and record set objects are enough. Okay. Anyhow, that is not our syllabus. Now come to Selenium. First, Selenium IDE. Tell me, Ahalya, Selenium IDE. Guess how to conduct data-driven testing or parameterization?
Sir, we use element locators and Selenium commands.
Element locators and Selenium commands for
by using
generating basic steps only.
Using
Raja.
We use jar files.
Jar
for Excel.
Selenium IDE supports jars.
Selenium
IDE is ready-made environment. It doesn't support programming. It doesn't support parameterization. Observe, Ahalya, in first chapter, Selenium components topic, we discussed na. Selenium IDE doesn't support data-driven testing, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
For data-driven testing, resource is required. Resource means in this scenario, test data file. Test data file required. Selenium IDE doesn't have any built-in resource, or we can't import external files. Why? It doesn't support programming. Okay, na Ravinder?
Yes, sir.
Selenium IDE limitation doesn't support parameterization. Okay. Next, Selenium WebDriver. Selenium WebDriver. Observe Satish. If it is Selenium WebDriver, data-driven testing possible. It supports programming. Here, and one more thing. As like UFT tool, it doesn't have any data table like integrated spreadsheet. It doesn't have any Selenium WebDriver doesn't have any tool feature. Only through programming. Say by importing external files. That file is test data file. By importing external files, we can parameterize test cases. Observe Sean. By importing external files, suppose test data available in text file. Text file means flat file. Flat file means file which doesn't have any format, notepad like. If you want to handle flat files, you can use file object in Java. If you want to work with Excel files, you need to download and add third-party Excel jar files. Excel is not built in Java. File object is there for supporting text files or flat files. If you want to work with Excel files, you need to download and add Excel jar, third-party jar files. That I will show. Getting Ravindra, any confusion?
No, sir. I'm okay.
Now, tell me, Sri Lakshmi, parameterization. How to conduct parameterization in Selenium IDE and Selenium WebDriver. Then we will move to next topic. Sri Lakshmi responding slowly. Okay, you respond, Satish.
In UFT, using UFT tools or data by importing external files.
Just tell me once again.
In UFT, tool features data or
data table. Tool feature is data table. That is an integrated spreadsheet. Okay, using either data table or
importing external files.
Importing external files using VB script object models. Okay. Next, if it is Selenium IDE.
Selenium IDE doesn't support parameterization.
If it is Selenium WebDriver,
we import external files, test data files.
Then we can parameterize.
Test cases.
Test cases. Next, Sumitra. Suppose if you want to work in Java, if you want to work with text files, notepad like flat files, file object is there. You can create and use file object. Suppose if you want to work with the Excel files, how to Sumitra, how to work with the Excel files in Java?
We can import the external files and
less clarity or no clarity. Vijaya, how to work with Java? How to work with Excel files in Java?
I need to download.
We need to download and add Excel jar files, third-party Excel jar files. Okay, na?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay, we are moving to next topic. Any queries, Rajashekar? Any queries?
No, sir. I'm fine.
Okay, cool. Next, we discussed verification points, parameterization. Next, synchronization. Synchronization. In EFT also synchronization feature is there. Here, important concepts. What is synchronization? What is synchronization? Next, why synchronization? Next, how to synchronize? How to synchronize? Selenium and AUT, application under test. Okay. Now tell me, Ravindra, what is synchronization? General term. What is synchronization? Have any idea?
No, sir, forgot actually.
Shivapriya, what is synchronization?
Usually, sometimes the application under test takes more time to load
I
than
am
the
not
tool.
asking test automation point of view. This is general term, synchronization. You can find synchronization in Java and databases technology, Oracle also, in database technologies also. That is general term. What is synchronization?
Both have the same speed.
Matching the
Matching
speeds
the
of
speed
two things.
between two things.
Matching the speeds of two things, two processes, or two devices, or two systems, etc. Matching the speeds of two things is called synchronization. In our scenario, test automation scenario, what are the two things? One is test tool, another is AUT, application under test. Matching the speeds of both test tool and AUT is called synchronization. Getting? Shivapriya. Any confusion?
No confusion.
Next, voice synchronization. Have any idea, Amita? Voice synchronization. Synchronization is not required for all test cases. It is not required for all test steps. Then voice synchronization. Say, during test execution, test tool gives instructions one by one with same speed. No issues with test tool. But application takes less time for some steps execution and more time for some steps execution. Here we can't blame the application also. Why? Some steps may take more time. For example, click link. Application takes less time. Application can respond quickly. Enter a value into 8 box. Application can respond quickly. Suppose downloading process, uploading process, they may take more time. Say, during test execution, test tool gives instructions one by one with same speed. But application takes less time for some steps execution and more time for some steps execution. In order to keep them in sync, synchronization is required. How to know synchronization problem? Perform dry runs. Dry run, real run. After creating the test case, you perform dry run, sample run. Then you can rectify the problems. You can identify the synchronization problem. Suppose if test case is executing properly, then no synchronization problem. Getting Ravindra? Tell me, why synchronization?
Yes, sir. In order to sync the application steps, like some of them is responding lately and some of them is responding speedily.
Your explanation is not clear. If you tell this explanation to interviewer, how they respond? Some are responding lately, some are responding quickly. You tell me, Rajashekar, why synchronization? Give clear in your own words, no problem.
Some of the commands which are used by the tool, some of the steps which are commands, sorry, let me repeat it. Some of the commands which are passed by the tool, whereas the application response, some of the cases will faster and some of the cases it might take a longer term. So in order to make sure that both are working appropriately, we do the synchronization.
Okay, 80% okay, but still less clarity. See once again, first, what is synchronization? Matching the speeds of two things. In our scenario, matching the speeds of It is a process of matching the speeds of Selenium tool and application under test. Next, why synchronization? During test execution, when we get synchronization problem, during test execution, Selenium gives instructions or test tool gives instructions one by one with same speed, but application takes less time for some steps execution and more time for some steps execution. In order to keep them in sync, synchronization is required. Okay, suppose application takes more time for some steps execution. When synchronization is required exactly? See, actually Selenium default synchronization time is 30 seconds. If any step takes more than 30 seconds for execution, their synchronization is required. Next, how to synchronize Selenium and AUT? Next, Ravindra, how to synchronize UFT and AUT? In UFT also synchronization concept is there now. In UFT, how to synchronize?
We can put the times or waiting time.
Wait command is there. That wait command time in seconds. It takes time in seconds. Wait command is one of the possibility. Next, UFT tool feature synchronization point is there now.
Yes, sir.
Synchronization point. Using synchronization point, you can synchronize. Otherwise, using wait command. Okay.
Wait command.
Here, in Selenium, explicitly wait. That WebDriver command is there, and thread.sleep Java command also there. Okay, na?
Okay, sir.
Using WebDriver command or Java method thread.sleep, you can synchronize. One is conditional synchronization, another is unconditional synchronization, that I will explain in synchronization chapter. Okay, okay na, Sri Lakshmi, synchronization. Amita?
Yes, sir.
Any queries, Ahalya? Synchronization. How to synchronize Selenium WebDriver and application under test?
Sir, we use command Java thread.sleep or
thread.sleep Java command or WebDriver command explicitly wait.
Command. Wait, yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Next, error handling. Error handling. It is important one. What is error handling? Handling expected and unexpected errors. Handling expected and unexpected errors is called error handling. Expected errors, unexpected errors. Can I give an example for expected error handling is very important in test automation. Can you give an example for expected errors, Shivapriya? Expected errors. When we expect error before test case execution?
For negative testing,
yes, for negative testing we expect error. Suppose for negative testing I am using invalid input, invalid username, invalid password. Definitely we can expect errors. Next, unexpected errors.
And when there is programming logic.
Sometimes unexpected errors. For example, you are fetching test data from an external file, Excel file. That file is not responding. That is unexpected, na?
Yes, sir.
Yesterday we executed the test script executed properly, but today that resource test data file is not responding. It is unexpected error. Okay. Next, Ravindra, how to handle errors in UFT?
By debugging, sir.
Debugging is different. That is locating errors. After locating errors, you can fix errors. That is different concept. In UFT, tool feature is there and VB script features also there.
Recovery scenario.
Yes. Using recovery scenarios. Recovery scenarios or VB script features. VB script conditional statements, etc. Next, in Selenium WebDriver. In Selenium WebDriver. Using, suppose in our scenario we are using Java. Java exception handling. Using Java exception handling. Next, next one, optional, adding comments. Adding comments. See, in computer programming, two important things. One is rule, another is standard. Suppose syntax rules we must follow, but adding comments is best practice, but not rule. Adding comments optional. Optional. Can you tell me, Rajashekar, why we add comments in our test cases? Or you can say general orientation. Why we add comments in programming?
There are two ways, sir. One is if there's any issues with the test case, we put in the comments in order for the developers to understand.
That is a different comment. That comment not comes come under this one programming comments. That comment, okay, general comments. That is English term comment, not programming term comment.
Okay. In general terms.
Here we use observe. Don't confuse, Rajshekar. Two types of comments. One is programming term comment. Another is English term comment. You are telling about English term comment. Suppose any issues in test case, you explain that one. That is different. Here,
okay,
to make the code readable, isn't it?
Right, sir.
Readable or understandable. This is the primary purpose of comments in any programming language, not only Java. Next, another secondary purpose also there. Primary purpose to make the code readable. In our scenario, to make the test case readable, to make the test steps readable. Next, another is to make the code disable from execution. Suppose I wrote 100 lines of code in my program. I don't want to execute all 100 lines in this iteration. I want to execute only 70 lines. I can make remaining 30 lines as comment. Make the code disable from execution. Suppose next iteration I want to execute all 100 statements uncomment. Okay na, Raja? Purpose of comments in our test cases are computer programming. Any confusion?
No, sir. Two types, like one readable and one is disabling.
Yes, to make the code readable, that is primary purpose. Next, secondary purpose is to make the code disable from execution. Anyhow, writing comments optional, but best practice. Okay, etc. Say these are the important enhancing methods. Okay, now Ravindra, any queries regarding this enhancing tests?
No, sir, I'm fine.
Okay, cool. Next, come to fourth phase. Running. Running means executing. Running and debugging. Debugging tests. Which one is first? Vijaya, running tests or debugging tests?
Running tests.
Running first. Then only you can identify the problem. Say this is cycle. Running. If it is okay, no issues, continue. Or running. Debugging. Debugging. After debugging, again running. Again confirm. Okay. First, take running tests. Running. Running. Another name is execution. Execution. Here we have types of test run. Types of test run. Types of test run. One is single test run. Single test run. Another is test batch run. Test, or we can say batch testing. Executing series of test cases. Batch testing. Single test run okay. How to conduct batch testing? Guess, Sean, how to conduct batch testing?
Using TestNG, I think.
Yes, using TestNG or JUnit framework.
JUnit.
Otherwise, in Selenium WebDriver, using Java programming also you can conduct batch testing. Possible.
Okay.
You can write multiple test cases in a Java class. See, two types. One is you can write multiple. You can write and execute. You can write and execute multiple test cases in a Java class, or using testing framework. Testing framework, either JUnit in this scenario or TestNG. You can conduct batch testing. Next, come to debugging. This is development term. We are using programming for test automation, so we need to familiar with this term. Actually, debugging term is not related to testing, it is related to development. See, debugging test cases. Debugging test cases. It is optional. Optional. Not mandatory. Here, what are the important concepts? Anyhow, it is roadmap for our program. Later, we will discuss each and every concept in detailed manner. What is debugging? What is debugging? Next, when debugging is optional, but when debugging is required. Can you tell me, Ravindra, what is debugging? What is debugging?
Debugging is identifying errors and resolving the errors.
Identifying errors and resolving errors. Okay. Say, locating and isolating errors through step-by-step execution. Not at a time execution, step-by-step execution. Locating and isolating errors through step-by-step execution. Next, when already I told debugging is optional. When debugging is required, just a minute, misplaced. This is what is debugging. Next, when debugging is required. Observe, Amita, I will explain 3 scenarios. Then you can tell me where debugging is required. First, remember, debugging is not required for all test cases, only for some test cases. When debugging is required, try to identify. Scenario 1. Test case is not showing any errors and providing correct output. See. Test case is not showing any errors and providing desired output, correct output. In this scenario, debugging is required or not, Amita?
No, sir. I don't know.
You don't know. You tell me, Satish, in this scenario, debugging is required or not?
I think debugging is not required.
Not required. Why? Test case not showing any errors and providing correct output.
Yes.
Not required. Not required. Next, scenario 2. Scenario 2. Scenario 2. Test case is showing errors. If test case shows errors, definitely you can't expect correct output. Test case showing errors. In this scenario also, debugging not mandatory. First correct the errors, correct the problems. Then most of the time test case will provide correct output. Test case is showing errors. First correct the errors. Most of the time you can get correct output. Otherwise, you can debug. In this scenario also, debugging optional. If required, you can use. Next, scenario 3. Scenario 3. Test case is not showing any errors and not providing correct output. Observe, Shivpriya, typical scenario. Not showing any errors and not providing correct output. Here debugging is required or not?
Required.
Required. When this type of situation occurs, observe. Suppose at one point of time I have to use x equal to a plus b. As per our test requirement, this is the desired formula. Suppose mistakenly I used multiplication operator instead of addition operator. Is it syntax error? No. Is it runtime error? No. It is human error. But programming point of view, it is not an error. As per this operator, it evaluates. But our test requirement point of view, it is error. We can't get correct output. In order to locate this type of human errors, we need to debug test cases. See, final conclusion. Whenever
I have a question, sir. So in that case, in the last one, you told that okay, x is equal to a into b, and this type of debugging can be done by using traceability metrics, which you told us yesterday, right?
Don't mix the concept. Here, no traceability metric concept in test automation.
Okay, but sir, how can we debug the case in this case?
Perform dry run, sample run. After creating the test case, perform dry run. If it is executing properly and providing correct output, then no issue. Otherwise, you need to debug, look at this type of human errors. Sometimes I used, I misplaced operators. That time I need to rectify the problem.
But sir, we can rectify the problem by only, this problem can be rectified, I think, only by going back into the requirements and seeing the requirements.
Requirements different. Requirements clear. Suppose requirements adding two numbers. Requirements clear. But our understanding problem in my test case, I am not adding two numbers, multiplying two numbers. That is not requirement mistake. You need to check the requirement again. Just identify your human error.
But okay, but what I think that we need to go back to the requirements, because we don't know that this is the mistake.
Required. You can check the requirement again. You know the requirement clearly, but mistake, then you can correct the mistake.
Sir, can I add a point, sir?
Just a minute. Complete, Sean. Sean, complete.
Yeah, I got your point that, in case if we need to look back at the requirements.
Yes, you can look back to requirement, no issue.
Okay.
No issue. But if you know the requirement clearly, if you find that mistake as human mistake, not syntax error or runtime error, then you can correct it. Otherwise, you check the requirement once again, no issue.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Somebody trying to ask me?
I was just mentioning it could be any typographical error also when we are doing when we wrote the test case. It could have been a typographical error, as you mentioned. Instead of putting a plus, putting a multiplication, it was a typographical error. So those kind of mistakes can occur in this. So we have to go back and look at the syntax. Is it proper syntax or not?
Yes. By executing test cases step by step, you have to look at that error. Hello?
That's what I was trying to say, sir.
Okay.
So that's what you're trying to say, human error, right? So it is human error.
Actually, that is human error. Otherwise, you can say it's syntax error. Actually, human mistake, that one. Not syntax error means program will show error. Not syntax error, na. Suppose x equal to a plus b. This is desired formula as per our test requirement. You wrote x equal to a multiply b. Is it syntax error?
Sir, can I add some point here?
Just a minute. Ravinder,
No, sir.
It is not syntax error. It is not an syntax error. But as per this operator, it evaluates. But our test requirement point of view, it is error.
That's right, sir.
Okay. Somebody trying to say, tell me.
Sir, this is Ravindra. So if it is, as per my understanding, if it is syntax error, then it will show the error while running the test case.
It will show the error, then you can correct the error. No debugging required.
Yes, because if the scenario clearly showing that there is no error, but the output is not correct. That means output, like you said, A plus B is instead of A plus B, we put it like A into B. Then when you see the output, normally you will guess where is the wrong went to through. So that may be debug required.
A value 10, B value 20. My expected result is 30, but it is showing 200. That time, you can look at that. You can debug that one.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. All of you put mute. This is about debugging. How to debug that we will discuss later. Next, come to any queries in this phase, in this fourth phase, running and debugging tests, Raja.
Sir, it's fine. It's you mean to say it's a typographical error for the case Selenium 3. Yeah, I understood, sir.
See, you can debug. Otherwise, just open the test case and read step by step. That time also you can locate, isn't it?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Next, Priya, Shivapriya, any queries?
No, sir, I'm good.
Okay, cool. Next, last phase, analyze test results, and reporting defects. Analyze test results and reporting defects. First, analyze test results. Say, in Selenium IDE, first, Selenium IDE provides test result for every test iteration. Here summary only, not detailed. Summary only. Test, find the difference between test and test iteration. Suppose one test case is there that I executed for 10 times, 10 iterations, 10 test results. Only suppose I executed only one time, one test case, one test iteration, one test result. Next, Selenium WebDriver. Satish, what about Selenium WebDriver? Selenium IDE provides test result for every test iteration, summary only. What about Selenium WebDriver?
I don't think Selenium WebDriver gives any reports.
See, doesn't have reporting facility. Okay. Then how to overcome? Say, using testing framework, either JUnit in this scenario, either JUnit or TestNG, you can generate test reports. We can generate test reports. Saloni, are you following? Saloni? Saloni?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Using testing framework, either JUnit or TestNG, we can generate test reports. Next, just a minute. One general topic. Status of test result. Status of test results is not only in Selenium, in functional test automation. Observe. Tell me, Shivapriya, in UFT, how many types of status, result status?
Done, pass, fail.
3 types. Ravindra.
I think there is one warning, sir.
Yes, 4 types. First type, pass. When we get pass status, just a general idea. If expected equal to actual, then pass. Just a minute. One more thing. Observe, Ravindra. Suppose using testing framework, we can generate test reports. Suppose I don't want to use any testing framework. Just I want to generate test results. Can we generate in Selenium WebDriver?
No, sir, I think.
Yes, using Java programming features also you can define test results. Using Java programming, you can define test results. Suppose if so and so object exists, then display test case passed, else test case failed, etc. You can define test results. Or testing framework. Okay, come to mainstream. Pass. Next, fail. When we get fail status, if expected not equals to, this is Java not equal to symbol. Okay, if expected not equal to actual. Next, done. Tell me, Shivapriya, when we get done status?
If there is no checkpoint.
Yes, if there is no verification point, either checkpoint or condition. If there is no verification, point in the test case, okay na? Only plain execution. Next, Sean, warning. Just guess when we get warning status.
If something goes wrong with the test or the...
If any interruption. If any interruption during test execution. Okay, and one more thing. Observe, Amita, analyze test results. Is it a tool responsibility or tester responsibility?
Test responsibility, sir.
Tester responsibility, user responsibility. It is not tool responsibility, isn't it?
Yes.
It provides
yes,
result,
sir.
but tester need to analyze the results. Okay. Next subtopic in this one, reporting defects. Reporting defects. Reporting defects. Say I think in first chapter already we discussed no tool integration with Selenium for test management. Okay na? Ahalya, no tool integration with Selenium for test management. You need
Yes,
to
sir.
use test management tools separately. Okay, you can communicate, you can use defect management tools or test management tools with Selenium, but no integration. Okay na?
Okay.
You need to operate them separately.
Okay.
See here,
Yes, sir.
observe one small case study. See, Selenium, no tool integration. No tool integration with Selenium for test management or defect management. See, defect management is part of test management. What is the difference between test management and defect management? Sumitra, difference between
Yes,
test
sir.
management and defect management. Both are same or different?
They both are different. They both are different.
But
defects are the results of the tests.
Difference between test management and defect management. Both are different but related. Vijaya.
Yes, sir.
What is the difference between test management and defect management? Okay. See, defect management means defect reporting and tracking. Some tools available for defect management, otherwise manual process also available. Using your company prescribed defect report template, you can enter defect details and send through your company internal mailing system. Otherwise, if your company using any tool, every tool provides its own template, enter defect details and send. For defect management, so many tools available. For example, Bugzilla. For test management, ALM, Jira, etc. tools available. Defect management means defect reporting and tracking. Test management means defect management is part of test management. Test management means requirements management, entire test lifecycle management, requirements management, test case management, next defect management, etc. Final conclusion, defect management is part of test management. Test management, requirements management, test case management, defect management, etc. Okay na, Sushma? Understand the concepts, test management, defect management?
Yes, sir.
Here
Yeah,
one.
defect management comes under test management.
Defect, good. Defect management comes under test management.
Yes, sir.
Functional, small case study, observe. Functional test automation and defect management. Defect reporting and tracking. Suppose one scenario. Suppose for functional test automation, our company using Selenium. For defect management, manual. Our company not using any tool, manual process. Then how to report defects? After analyzing the test results in Selenium, launch your company prescribed defect report template, for example Excel. Launch your company prescribed defect report template, enter defect details and send. Another scenario, suppose for functional test automation our company using Selenium, for defect management or test management our company using Bugzilla or Jira or any other tool, etc. Any one, not all. Then what is the defect reporting process? After analyzing the test result in Selenium, launch defect management tool. Every tool provides its own template, defect report template. Sometimes we can customize the template also according to our project. Launch defect management tool, open defect report template, enter defect details and send. If it is UFT can integrate with the ALM or quality center. After analyzing the test results in UFT, you can directly send defects to quality center project from UFT result window. Here no such tool integration, but you can use other tools. See, this is about reporting defects. Any queries? Rajashekar, any queries?
No, sir. I'm fine. Thank you.
Okay. Say, I'm going to close the session. Today's session is Selenium test process. In this Selenium test process, we discussed 5 phases: test planning, generating basic tests, enhancing tests, next running and debugging tests, last one analyzing test results and reporting defects. Any queries, Ahalya, regarding this today's?
No, sir.
Okay, cool. Amita?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Priya?
I'm good. Thank you.
Welcome.
No, sir.
Raja?
No, sir, it's fine.
Welcome. Raja Shekhar?
Fine, thank you, sir.
Welcome. Ravindra?
Fine, sir.
Welcome. Saloni?
I'm good, sir. Thank you.
Welcome. Sean?
I'm good, sir. Thank you.
Sri Lakshmi?
I'm also good, sir. Thank you.
Welcome. Sumitra?
I'm good, sir.
Vijaya?
I'm good, sir.
Sushma?
I'm good, sir.
Okay. And one more thing.
Sir, yeah. Sir, you just send an email saying today evening there's a bonus class for
Yes, today evening IST, I think tomorrow na, in your time?
Yeah, tomorrow.
Saturday morning, Saturday, 8 to 10 a.m. na, EST.
Yes, sir.
Saturday, 8 to 10 a.m. IST, we have bonus class, Introduction to SQL. Try to attend that class without fail. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so Indian timing, it's like tomorrow.
Indian timing only. Today evening 5:30 a.m.
5:32 a.m. Yeah.
5:30 a.m.
Yeah.
a.m. Indian
5:30 p.m. sir.
A.m. 5:30 p.m.
Sorry,
today evening.
5:30 p.m. Sorry. Indian time
Okay, sir.
5:30 p.m. Saturday. US time Saturday 8 a.m. EST. Okay na?
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, 8 a.m. EST. Okay.
Okay. We will meet that time.
Dallas and CST kada?
Sir, I didn't receive this email, sir.
Which one?
Central time.
Sorry, this is Raj Shekhar, sir. I didn't receive this.
Actually, that email sent, I think, 4 or 5 days back. 4 or 5 days back. You newly joined now. I will send.
Thank you very much, sir.